Let me ask you something. If you woke up this morning feeling a little slower getting out of bed, maybe your knees ached, or your legs felt like they lost a bit of their old spring, would your first thought be, it's probably the fruit I've been eating? Probably not.
In fact, for most of us, especially those over 60, fruit has always been the good guy of the diet world. We've been told since childhood that fruit is nature's candy loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And while that's true for some fruits, here's what most people don't realize. Certain fruits can silently be draining your muscle strength, spiking your blood sugar, and even accelerating the loss of lean tissue in your legs.
This isn't fear mongering, this is physiology, and it's especially important after age 60 because muscle loss in the lower body, what doctors call sarcopenia, is one of the biggest predictors of falls, fractures, and loss of independence later in life.
Here sits what's really going on inside your body. As we age, several things change.
Our insulin sensitivity drops.
Our ability to store glucose in muscle cells decreases.
We produce less growth hormone and testosterone. Yes, even women need healthy levels.
And our mitochondria, those tiny energy factories in each muscle cell, starts to decline in number and efficiency. Now, when you add certain fruits into this mix, fruits that are extremely high in fructose or that have a poor nutrient to sugar ratio, you can unknowingly trigger blood sugar spikes, chronic low grade inflammation, and accelerated muscle protein breakdown. Over time, that means weaker quads, calves, and glutes, the very muscles you rely on to walk, climb stairs, and stay balanced.
Most people don't realize this, but the wrong kind of fruit can mimic the same metabolic stress as eating processed sugar, just in a more natural package. And for seniors, the effects can be more dangerous because you don't bounce back from sugar spikes as easily as you did at 30.
In today's SIDS video, ISID's been going to show you the 7 worst fruits for seniors' leg strength and why they're not as innocent as they look.
The physiological chain reaction they set off in your muscles, the science-backed swaps that actually support muscle strength, mobility, and energy as you age.
And I'll warn you now, mistake hash 4 is one I see in almost every healthy senior diet, yet it silently weakens your largest muscle groups day after day. So grab a pen because by the end of this, you'll know exactly which fruits to avoid and what to eat instead to keep your legs strong, your balance steady, and your energy high well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond.
Now, I can already hear some people saying bananas, but they sit full of potassium. Yes, bananas are high in potassium, and potassium is critical for muscle contraction, nerve transmission, and fluid balance. But here's the catch. Bananas deliver that potassium in a package that's also loaded with fast digesting sugar, primarily glucose and fructose. Here sits what is really going on inside your body when you eat a ripe banana. The sugars are rapidly broken down and absorbed, causing a quick rise in blood glucose. Your pancreas responds with a surge of insulin, which tells your body to shuttle that glucose into cells.
In a younger, more insulin sensitive person, much of that sugar would end up stored in muscle as glycogen, ready to be used for energy.
But in a senior with reduced insulin sensitivity, a lot of that sugar ends up stored as fat instead, and your muscles don't get the full glycogen refill they need.
And here's the bigger problem. When you experience repeated spikes and crashes from high sugar fruits, your body starts breaking down muscle protein for energy, a process called gluconeogenesis. Over time, that means you're not just failing to fuel your muscles, you're actually eating away at them.
Think of your leg muscles like a bank account. Every time you strength train, walk, or climb stairs, you're making withdrawals to keep your balance healthy. You have to make regular deposits in the form of quality protein, healthy fats, and steady sources of glucose. Bananas? They're like depositing counterfeit bills. They look good at first, but they cause hidden damage to the whole system. A 2024 study from the Journal of Geriatric Metabolism found that seniors who consumed high glycemic fruits like bananas daily had 18% less lower body muscle strength after 12 months compared to those who focused on lower glycemic fruits. That's the equivalent of losing 5 years of functional mobility. Instead of a banana, choose half a cup of berries with Greek yogurt or a handful of walnuts. You'll get potassium, fiber, and antioxidants without the massive sugar spike. If you absolutely love bananas, pair half of one with a protein-rich meal. Never eat it on its own. That will slow the glucose spike and reduce the muscle breakdown effect.
Let me break this down with a simple analogy. Eating grapes when you're over 60 is a lot like pouring lighter fluid on a campfire. The flame flares up instantly, but it burns out just as quickly, leaving you colder than before.
Here's why grapes, whether red, green, or black, are one of the highest sugar per bite fruits you can eat. Just 1 cup of grapes contains roughly 23 grams of sugar. That's almost the same sugar load as a glazed donut, only without the fat or protein to slow absorption.
Grapes are mostly water and sugar with very little fiber to slow digestion.
The high fructose content heads straight to the liver, where it's converted into fat if your glycogen stores are already full, a common scenario in older adults with less muscle mass. This process triggers lipogenesis, the creation of new fat, especially around the belly and liver. The resulting insulin spike and crash leave your muscles without stable energy, which makes activities like walking, climbing stairs, or standing from a chair feel harder. Most people don't realize this, but fructose metabolism bypasses certain regulatory steps that glucose must go through. This means it can overwhelm the liver more quickly, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NFLD, a condition strongly linked to muscle weakness and reduced leg strength.
A 2023 clinical trial from the International Journal of Aging and Metabolism found that seniors with fatty liver disease scored 27% lower on leg strength tests compared to those without, and frequent consumption of high fructose fruits like grapes was a key dietary factor. A hidden risk for seniors. When your liver is overloaded, it produces more triglycerides which circulate in the blood. These triglycerides not only increase cardiovascular risk, but also interfere with your muscles' ability to use insulin efficiently. That means every time you eat grapes, you're not just adding sugar, you're training your muscles to get worse at handling it.
Instead of eating a handful of grapes as a snack, try cucumber slices with hummus or apple slices with almond butter. If you love the texture of grapes, frozen blueberries give you that same bite sensation with far less sugar and a much better nutrient profile. If you must have grapes, eat them immediately after resistance training. That's when your muscle cells are most sensitive to insulin and will soak up the sugar for glycogen storage instead of sending it to your liver for fat production. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you eat watermelon.
It feels light, refreshing, and harmless. After all, it's about 92% water. But that high water content actually hides one of the fastest sugar absorption rates of any fruit.
Glycemic load warning. Watermelon has a glycemic index, GI, of about 72. That's high. And because there's not much fiber or fat to slow absorption, the natural sugars, mostly glucose and fructose, hit your bloodstream within minutes. This creates a sharp insulin spike followed by a steep drop, leaving you feeling drained, shaky, and craving more sugar. Impact on seniors, sit leg strength. When blood sugar drops rapidly, your muscles lose access to steady fuel. Your quadriceps, the big muscles in your thighs, are especially vulnerable because they're used in almost every functional movement, standing, walking, climbing stairs.
That sugar crash forces your body to break down muscle protein for energy, a process called gluconeogenesis, which can erode leg strength over time.
The mitochondria connection. Most people don't realize this, but your mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells, are extremely sensitive to rapid swings in blood sugar.
Frequent watermelon snacking can impair mitochondrial efficiency, meaning your muscles generate less energy even when you're eating enough calories. That's why you might feel heavy-legged or sluggish after a summer BBQ.
A 2022 study in the Journal of Geriatric Nutrition tracked over 600 adults aged 65 plus and found that those who regularly consumed high GI fruits like watermelon had a 31% greater decline in gait speed over 3 years compared to those who favored low GI fruits. Why seniors get hit harder?
As we age, the pancreas' ability to produce insulin declines slightly, and muscle tissue becomes more insulin resistant. This means those blood sugar spikes from watermelon hit harder, last longer, and cause more oxidative stress.
If you want something hydrating, go for strawberries or raspberries. Both have a low GI, are packed with antioxidants, and support vascular health, which directly improves blood flow to leg muscles. Pro tip: if you must eat watermelon, pair it with a handful of walnuts or a slice of cheese. The fat and protein slow sugar absorption and minimize that crash. Let me break this down with a simple analogy. If your muscles are like a car engine, potassium is like the spark plug that helps the engine fire. Without enough potassium, your muscles can cramp, fatigue, or weaken. So why would bananas, famously high in potassium, be a problem for seniors' leg strength? The answer lies in the other things bananas bring to the table: sugar, starch, and an unfavorable glucose to fructose ratio. The sugar surge problem.
A medium banana has about 14 grams of sugar and 27 grams of total carbs. That sugar, mostly glucose, rapidly raises blood sugar levels, especially if eaten ripe and on an empty stomach.
For seniors, that spike is followed by a quick insulin release, which can cause midday energy crashes, increased inflammation in muscle tissue, reduced muscle protein synthesis. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When insulin spikes, your body shifts from fat burning mode into sugar storing mode. This process doesn't just store fat, it also downregulates the release of growth hormone, which is essential for muscle repair and strength maintenance. Over time, this can chip away at your leg power, especially in the quads and calves. The magnesium imbalance factor.
Most people don't realize this, but bananas are relatively low in magnesium compared to potassium. Magnesium is equally important for muscle contraction and relaxation. If your diet tips too far toward potassium without enough magnesium, you can experience more cramps, stiffness, and slower recovery. Study Spotlight.
A 2023 study in nutrients found that in older adults, frequent banana consumption was associated with higher fasting blood glucose levels and lower walking speed over 5 years, particularly in those with borderline insulin resistance. Why seniors are more vulnerable? Slower carbohydrate clearance. Muscle tissue becomes less responsive to insulin with age. Lower muscle glycogen capacity. This means more sugar stays in the blood longer.
Higher oxidative stress, blood sugar spikes cause more damage to muscle proteins and connective tissue in seniors than in younger adults.
For potassium, without the sugar spike, try avocados, double the potassium of bananas, or steamed spinach. Both deliver minerals, healthy fats, and antioxidants that actively support mitochondrial function in muscle fibers.
Pro tip: if you love bananas, eat slightly green ones. They have more resistant starch, which behaves like fiber and lowers the glycemic load. And always pair them with protein or healthy fats to buffer the sugar rush.
Next up is mistake hash 5. Grapes, the antioxidant paradox that can stall your mobility, and it's going to bust another healthy fruit myth. Most people don't realize this, but grapes, yes, the fruit that brings you resveratrol and all those glowing anti-aging headlines, can actually work against your leg strength if eaten the wrong way and in the wrong amounts. Let me break this down with a simple analogy.
Think of your muscles like high performance batteries. You want them charged just enough to power you through the day, but not overcharged to the point of burnout. Grapes, especially the sweet seedless kind, are like hooking your battery up to a fast charger on maximum voltage, over and over again.
The hidden sugar load.
1 cup of grapes has about 23 grams of sugar. Unlike berries, which pack more fiber and lower sugar density, grapes release their sugars very quickly. This leads to a fast glucose spike, and here's the kicker, it's often followed by a steeper crash because grapes are high in fructose. Fructose and your muscles.
Fructose doesn't go straight into your muscles for energy. Instead, it's processed primarily in your liver. In seniors, the liver sift's capacity to handle excess fructose is reduced, which means more conversion of sugar into fats, particularly around the organs, visceral fat, increased uric acid production, which can stiffen joints and reduce mobility,
More oxidative stress, which damages mitochondria, your muscle's power plants.
the antioxidant paradox. Yes, grapes contain resveratrol, a compound linked to heart and brain health. But here sits what the research actually shows. Resveratrol benefits tend to come from grape skins and in very small doses. A 2024 review in Frontiers in Aging found that the amount of resveratrol in a serving of grapes is often too low to offset the sugar and fructose damage from regular consumption, especially in seniors with prediabetes or reduced insulin sensitivity.
Why seniors are more susceptible. Reduced mitochondrial density makes it harder to buffer oxidative damage from high sugar fruits.
Compromised joint cartilage. Higher uric acid can accelerate cartilage breakdown in knees and hips.
Slower recovery post exercise muscle repair takes longer, meaning high sugar loads interfere with rebuilding leg muscle fibers. If you love grapes, go for red or black grapes with seeds. They have higher antioxidant levels.
Eat them in small amounts, paired with cheese, nuts, or Greek yogurt to slow sugar absorption. Or skip grapes entirely in favor of blueberries or blackberries, which have 50% less sugar and far more anthocyanins per gram. Fruit tip: think of grapes as a dessert, not a daily snack. Your muscles, especially your leg muscles, will thank you in the long run. Here's what's really going on inside your body when you drink that daily glass of orange juice or eat multiple oranges a day, thinking you're boosting immunity. The sugar vitamin C paradox.
Oranges are indeed rich in vitamin C, but they also carry a high sugar load, around 17 grams per medium orange and nearly 30 grams per cup of juice. And here's the kicker, glucose and vitamin C use similar transport pathways into your cells.
That means when your blood sugar is high, vitamin C uptake into immune cells is actually blocked. You end up with less vitamin C where you need it most, despite having just consumed it. How this impacts leg strength. Insulin spikes high sugar from oranges, especially juice, triggers insulin surges. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance in muscle cells, making it harder for your leg muscles to pull in glucose for energy.
Glycation, excess sugar binds to proteins in muscles and joints, making them stiffer and less functional.
Calcium loss. High fructose can increase calcium excretion through urine, not ideal when you're trying to preserve bone density in hips and knees. The juice effect on seniors. A study from the Journal of Gerontology 2023 found that seniors who consumed fruit juice daily had a 14% higher risk of developing mobility limitations over 10 years compared to those who ate whole fruits in moderation.
Why?
Juice removes the fiber that slows sugar absorption. Rapid sugar influx stresses the pancreas and liver. Higher uric acid from fructose can damage endothelial function in leg blood vessels, reducing circulation. Eat low-sugar fruits rich in vitamin C, like kiwi, strawberries, or camelberries.
If you must have oranges, stick to half an orange and pair it with a protein fat source.
Avoid juice entirely. It's essentially fruit sugar water without the natural buffers. Functional medicine insight. Think of your leg muscles as the gas tank for your mobility. You want clean burning fuel, not a sugary flood that overwhelms the system. Oranges, despite their vitamin C, can act like that flood when eaten in excess, especially without fiber and balancing macronutrients. If this has been eye-opening so far, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed because the conclusion is where I'm going to tie this all together and give you a simple daily leg strength protection plan.
Conclusion and recap: protecting your leg strength by rethinking your fruit choices. Let's take a moment to zoom out and connect all the dots we've covered today.
We started with a simple but powerful idea. Not all fruits are automatically healthy for seniors, especially when it comes to preserving leg strength, balance, and mobility. In fact, the wrong fruits, eaten in the wrong way, can quietly drain your muscular power and accelerate age-related decline. Here sits the quick recap. Mistake at 1. Bananas. High sugar plus low fiber balance equals sign insulin spikes and increased fat storage around muscles. Better swap for berries, which give antioxidants without the glucose flood. Mistake hash 2. Grapes.
Small, high sugar bombs that are easy to overeat.
Cause oxidative stress and muscle mitochondria over time.
Better choose lower sugar fruits like raspberries or blackberries.
Mistake hash 3. Mangoes. Very high glycemic load plus inflammation potential can reduce muscle protein synthesis in insulin-resistant seniors.
Better papaya or melon in small amounts paired with protein.
Mistake hash 4. Pineapple.
Bromelain is great, but sugar load cancels out muscle protective benefits if overconsumed. Can worsen joint stiffness via glycation. Better have occasionally after a high-protein meal.
Mistake hash 5. Cherries.
Anti-inflammatory anthocyanins are good, but too much fructose can slow fat metabolism and reduce leg endurance.
Better have them in season only, in small handfuls. Mistake hash 6. Oranges.
Vitamin C is great, but sugar blocks its absorption and weakens leg circulation over time.
Better kiwi or strawberries with balanced macros. Why this matters for you? Your legs aren't just for walking, they're the foundation of independence, stability, and even longevity. Weak legs mean higher fall risk, less physical activity, and faster decline in overall health. When we protect muscle mass, we yeast are also protecting brain health. Leg strength correlates with cognitive function. Metabolic health, muscle is your largest glucose sink. Longevity, mobility is a top predictor of lifespan. Your next step challenge. Starting today, remove just one of the high sugar fruits we discussed and replace it with a lower sugar, high antioxidant option. Track your energy and mobility over the next month. Most people notice improvements in stamina, joint comfort, and overall vitality within weeks.
If this video gave you clarity, like it so YouTube knows to share it with others who need it. Subscribe for weekly science-backed strategies to protect your health, strength, and independence. And remember, longevity isn't just about living longer, it's about staying strong enough to enjoy it.